Hi everyone, in this video I'll be reading a fanfic based on the shows Hannah Montana, Kickin' It, and I Didn't Do It. So, let's just put this back there quickly before I'll okay. And I call this one Rudy is Sad. Again, this is along the lines of my birthday fanfics with a birthday theme to it. If I remember correctly, this one is one of the ones that has a birthday theme. Okay, so based on shows Hannah Montana, Kickin' It, and I Didn't Do It. So anyway, on with the story now. Rudy is sad. Alright, we have okay, so this was back before I changed narrator to MMJ. So anyway, that's what NA is abbreviated for, narrator. Because I didn't know how to spell narrator, so I knew those two letters. I know there's a TOR at some point in it, but anyway, so Rudy walks into the dojo with a sad look on his face. Kim says, "What's wrong, Rudy?" Rudy then says, sadly lying, "It's nothing," walks up to his office. In the dojo, Kim says, "What's up with Rudy?" Jerry's like, "Wait, what's today?" Jack says, May 9th. Okay, so that's the day I started writing this and not the actor's, the birthday. Okay. That was probably around the time I started writing this. So May 9th. What year? I don't know. But before 2020. So I don't know if it's 2019 or 2018. But one of those 2 years. May 9th. Why do you ask? Jerry's like, "Because I know why he's sad." Milton's like, "Then tell us." "I can't." Eddie's like, "Why can't you?" Jerry says, "I just can't, alright?" Milton says, "Come on, Jerry, tell us." Okay, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my phone stand there. I just can't, alright? Milton then says, hopeful, "Come on, Jerry, tell us." Jerry's like, "I can't tell you because it's not my story because it's his story to tell, not mine." Jack says, "Fine. Then if you know what's bothering him, you should do something to make him feel better." Come on. Work. Alright. On camera. Maybe zoom in just a smidgen. Okay. Good. Alright. Jerry says, "I was planning on it." Jack says, "Good." Later that day, Jerry texts someone he knows. Jerry says, "Hey, do you think you can get Miley here for May 15th? Rico says, "Sure, but why?" "Because May 15th is my sensei's birthday." Okay, so that was just a random date I came up with. I think in the edited version, I changed that to his actual birth date, to the actor who plays Rudy's birth date. So that's probably when I wrote this, around May 9th to May 15th. Anyway, because May 15th is my sensei's birthday. You know Rudy, right? Rico says, "Oh, right, you told me about that before, so I'll do my best to get her to San Francisco." I'm not exactly sure where Kickin' It takes place. They mentioned San Francisco. I think their high school's Seaford or something. But I don't exactly know where Kickin' It takes place. If someone knows where the Disney show Kickin' It takes place, is it in a fictional place or is it in a real place? I don't know. So just comment that down below if you know where exactly it takes place, because I somehow have missed it if they said. Anyway, so I'll do my best to get her to San Francisco for the event. So let's assume it's San Francisco, because I don't know where they said Kickin' It takes place. Anyway, Jerry says, "Great, just text me back when you know." Rico, So Rico was the one he was talking to, by the way, from Hannah Montana. Rico is in Miley's house now. Rico says, "Hey Miley, I booked you to perform at a birthday party in San Francisco on the 15th at the Wasabi Warriors Dojo." Miley says, "Sounds great. For a newbie, you're a pretty good manager." I've explained that Rico, I think, would fill in for Robbie if Robbie could no longer be Miley's manager. Maybe he's now pursuing his singing career again. I feel like she'd either with him kind of helping them, trying to convince her, like, I think Rico would be a good fit as a manager for Miley type of thing. But anyway, that's the way I connect the shows. So anyway, okay. Rico says, "Thanks, Miley. You're welcome." Rico then texts Jerry. Rico says, Miley can come to San Francisco." Jerry's like, "That's great." So, on the 14th, Miley and Rico arrive in San Francisco, and Jerry had borrowed Rudy's keys to the dojo so that he, Rico, and Miley could be there first. Could be the first ones in the dojo on the 15th. So, it's 6 a.m. on the 15th now. Miley says, "Okay, I'm going to transform into Hannah." Walks into the changing room. Jerry says, "So, Rico, soon as everyone shows up, you and Hannah will have to hide, then surprise Rudy. And then you can surprise Rudy." Jerry then texts Milton, "Hey, I need you to keep Rudy away from the dojo until 10 a.m. Milton's like, "Okay, done." "Great," says Jerry. Right there. Miley is now Hannah, and Jerry has told her the plan. Now, it's 8 a.m., and Jack is walking up to the dojo. Jerry says, "Okay, Hannah and Rico, time to hide." Okay, Hannah and Rico, time to hide. Hannah and Rico hide. Jack then says, "Jerry, what are you doing here so early?" Jerry's like, training." Randomly punches a punching bag. Like, training. Sort of thing. Kim walks in saying the same thing, really. "Jerry, why are you here so early?" Jerry's like, "What? I can't come in early to train?" Kim's like, "I didn't say that. Just that class doesn't usually start till 9 a.m. and you usually get here around 8:30. Jerry's like, "Oh, okay." Eddie walks in and says, "Oh, hey guys." Sorry. "Oh, hey guys." Jerry then says, "Oh, hey, I have to go. Be back in a minute." Jerry then went to check on his guests who are hiding. Nope. I guess the cardboard backing is falling apart on this notebook. I've had it for a few years now. I've had it for probably about 6-ish years now, so anyway. Kim says, "What's Jerry hiding?" Jack's like, "I don't know." Eddie's like, "Neither do I. Hey, it's 9:30. Where are Rudy and Milton?" So let's just assume that Milton and Rudy live around the same area, and that's why Jerry tasked him with keeping, Rudy away from the dojo. Alright? Jerry had been listening in. "Milton and Rudy are running late. They'll be here by 10 a.m. Milton sent me a text." And he's like, "Oh, okay." It's now 10 a.m., and Milton and Rudy are now in the dojo. "So, Rudy, I have a little surprise for you. Birthday present number 1, come on out." Rico says nicely, "Happy birthday." Rudy's like, "Oh my gosh, Rico, why are you here?" Then he hugs Rico. Jerry informs, I'll explain everything as soon as you see your next birthday gift. Birthday gift number 2. Show yourself. Hannah then nicely says, Happy birthday. Oh my gosh, Jackson. Jackson happily says, Hannah, what are you doing here? They hug. Hannah's like, I'm here because of Jerry and Rico. Okay. There we go. I think everything's on camera now. Okay. Jackson says, Jerry, how do you know about me, Hannah, and Rico? Jerry explains, well, Rico is Hannah's new manager. Jackson's like, what happened to Dad? Hannah says, he's fine, he's performing again, so I hired Rico as my new manager. Kim says, Rudy, why did you never tell us about Hannah? Why did you never tell us about Hannah? Jackson says, because I don't like press, but how do Jerry and Rico know each other? Though, how do Jerry and Rico know each other? Oh, because I don't like press. And how do Jerry and Rico know each other? That's a better way of wording that. Jerry and Rico say in unison, we're brothers. Jackson's shocked, says, what? Thinks, how did I not figure it out? Milton says, why did you never tell us you had a brother, Jerry? Jerry says, because my brother lives in Malibu. Milton realizes something. Hold on. Rudy is your real name Jackson? Rudy says, yes, it is. I changed it in order to hide from the press. Milton says, okay, that's understandable. Kim, reading herself, says, since everyone's coming clean about their secrets, I'm gonna tell mine. What secrets, Kim? Asks Jack. Kim says, Rudy and I have similar secrets. Jax worriedly says, what do you mean, Kim? Kim says, well, because I'm an exchange student from Ohio, I changed my name. Milton's like, wait, you live in Ohio? Kim's like, yes, why do you ask? Milton says, because my girlfriend's from Ohio. Jerry's like, wait, Milton, you have a girlfriend? Milton says, yes. Now, Kim, would you like to finish your story? Kim says, yes, I have a famous sibling too. Really? Who? There's an actor that was in an episode of Kickin' It that's a series regular on I Didn't Do It. In case you forgot. Do you guys remember Ricky Weaver? Yeah, okay. Let's see if I regret this. Including this part of it. Jack says, yes, I remember him. He's your brother? Kim says, well, when I found out he was coming to Seaford, I decided to do some method acting with him. Yeesh. Yeah, I regret including that part. Oh well. There's nothing I can do about it now. Wait, so you're telling me Ricky Weaver's your brother? Says Jack. Kim says, oh, sorry. That looked like an S. That was not supposed to be an S. It was supposed to be an arrow. Kim says, he is, and his real name is Logan Watson. Milton says, hold on. Kim, is your real name Lindy Watson? Kim's like, yes, but how do you know that? Milton says, oh, my girlfriend told me. Hey, is Logan your twin? Kim's like, yes. Who's your girlfriend, Milton? I just think that Milton from Kickin' It and Jasmine from I Didn't Do It could be a cute couple as well. Like, I feel like they would be cute together. Anyway, so Milton says Jasmine. Kim says, wait, really? Are you joking? Milton's like, no, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Sorry. Jack says, Lindy, why did you never tell me you were a twin? Okay. Alright. I hope you can see this on camera. Lindy says, I didn't think it was that important. Jack says, of course it's important. You shouldn't be afraid to tell me stuff like that. I am your boyfriend, says Jack. Lindy says, you're right. I'm sorry for lying to all of you. They all forgive Lindy for keeping the secret. Jerry says, I'm sorry about lying to you guys too about my brother. They all forgive Jerry for keeping his secret. Milton says, and I'm sorry I never told you guys I had a girlfriend, says Milton. They all forgive Milton. Jackson says, coming clean, and I always talk about being honest when I wasn't being honest myself, so I'm sorry I never told you who I was. They all forgive Jackson for keeping his secret and celebrate the rest of Jackson's birthday with a concert from Hannah Montana. The end. So I hope you enjoyed this story. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.